Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm showing how I fixed an axle out of a transmission on a riding lawnmower. And this particular riding lawnmower was a John Deere, and the transmission was a hydrostatic transmission. So first thing I did was I figured out how to get the transmission completely off and got that off. And these sometimes can be a pain in the butt with the pulleys and belts and different rods that might be mounted in different places. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but it's not that hard. You just got to see what's mounted to it and disconnect it. So I got the transmission completely off and popped it open. And as you can see in this picture, you can see the axle that's broke. It's the shorter one. This wasn't my mower. A guy was cutting grass in a ditch, so like all of the weight was on one wheel that was down in the ditch, and ended up snapping the axle right where the back of the wheel was. It was pretty self-explanatory how to get the axle out. There was some gears and some other pieces on here that you just had to take loose and pop out of place. If you plan on doing something like this or anything to a transmission on a mower, it's best just take the top off and like take a picture of what it looks like so you don't screw anything up when you go to put it back in. Some pieces in here only can go back in one way, but there are some pieces that can go in different ways, and there's one piece that was in there that I actually put in backwards when I got this done and put it back together, and it wouldn't work right, and figured out that it was in wrong. So be sure and take a picture before you move anything in the transmission so you'll see exactly how it needs to go back together. So I pulled the axle out of the transmission. This is both pieces. This is the piece that was in the transmission still, and the piece that I pulled out of the wheel. The reason that I didn't make a complete shaft is because on one end it had a spline cut in it, which would be possible to do in one of my CNCs, but most of the time my CNC machines are tied up with other work that we've got going on. This was a walk-in job that I do, and right now I don't do a whole lot of walk-in stuff because of the amount of work going on. So I wasn't able to remake this shaft, so I had to make it work. So what I did was I took the shaft with the spline on it and put it in my lathe and faced it to get a good machine surface on it, and then drilled a little hole in the end and put a chamfer on the edge. And then I took another piece of steel and turned it down to go in this hole and be a little bit bigger than the overall OD of the shaft. And what we're going to do is take the new piece and slide it in, and I made that fit a pretty snug fit. And I slid it in the shaft right here. And I did put a chamfer on both pieces, so my weld will be able to get down in there real good. Once I welded it, I put it in the lathe and started machining this. And then turned the OD down to the original size of the shaft. And then once I got that done, and it did have a groove in the end, I put that back in it. And then I had to take it over to the mill because this needed a keyway. The way the wheel mounts is you put the wheel on the shaft, and it does have a key about 6 inches long or so that you line the wheel up on the keyway, and you have to punch this key in there, and then it's got this snap ring that goes on the end of the shaft to hold the wheel on so it doesn't slide off. So I put the shaft in the mill and cut the keyway. And once I got that done and deburred it so there was no sharp edges, I was able to put it back in the transmission. One other thing, if you do this or anything else to a transmission, if you take it apart, it's going to have oil in it. You're going to want to get that oil out. Be sure to put the oil back in. You're going to want to put new fluid in it, but if you forget to do that, that is going to suck. So if you do anything with your transmission, you pull the fluid out, be sure to put new fluid back in before you put it back together and put it back on your mower or whatever you're working on. And then it's a bigger pain in the butt to try and get this a transmission back on a mower versus taking it off, but it's not that hard. It's just irritating and time consuming, but it's easy enough. You'll be able to figure it out. And that's how I fixed a axle on the hydrostatic transmission of a riding lawnmower. Thanks guys for watching. Be sure to consider getting subscribed. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.